Oh, we are live. I looked down and I didn't see it wrap up, but here we go, everybody. Welcome to Skip Happens. I took my eyes off the screen for a moment. Mark's probably going, what's he doing? What's he doing? But hey, welcome to Skip Happens. As I mentioned, this is going to be a great show. And Mark, just forgive me, I may geek out a little bit because I have been a fan of Sawyer Brown probably for the last 4 decades. I mean, since you first hit the radio and now, hit after hit after hit and show after show after show. And always right there. I've seen your shows. I've seen your energy. I've seen you dance on stage and some of those moves, man. Let's be real. I mean, you and we're not kids anymore, but you move like you are. That's pretty cool. It's good to see you, Mark Miller. What's up?
Man, it's all great. We're out on a 100-city tour. I'm in Minneapolis today, and we're just the crowds and the fans keep coming out, keep being loyal, and it's just incredible.
Dude, that's got to be such a good feeling. You've been to the top. I mean, you're still at the top of your game and still going strong. And to see the fans, I imagine you see a lot of new fans as well. You see a lot of, you and I are, like I said, we're a little bit older, but some of the younger people that are coming out and now they're getting acquainted with Sawyer Brown.
Probably a quarter of the fan base is under 30. And some of them would be, they listen to the stuff with their folks. And then some are brand new. And so, 90s in particular is pretty hot. We've always had a strong fan base, so we're getting to double up, really.
That's cool. I mean, you're getting a new audience, plus you got your well-established audience. And I mean, we talk about the music of The Race Is On, and some girls do. Let me think here. 6 Days on the Road. Thank God for You, The Boys and Me. Now you've got a brand new single that, did I do pretty good there? That's a good sign that I'm a fan and I'm kind of geeking out right now, but no, it's all good. But you got a new single, Desperado Troubadours, which we're going to be talking about here in just a little bit. But let's talk about the past 4 decades. Because I never had a chance to sit down and actually talk to you. When did you first start singing, and how did that all get started for you?
Well, I'm an introvert pretty much. And like in high school, I wouldn't even read out loud in class. I would literally take a 0 if I had to read out loud. I just wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And when I was a junior in college, I had a guitar. I taught myself how to play guitar when I was like in a kid. And I had a guitar that I would just sit around and, learn 4 chords like everybody else. And my junior year of college, I started writing. I wrote some songs. And then in order for me to be able to, like put them down on cassette, I had to sing them. And I played them for a buddy of mine who I was working at Walt Disney World at the time as a trick water skier in the water ski show. And my buddy was in the band leader. And I played him these songs and he geeked out. He didn't believe it was me, and he didn't believe I wrote them. And that was literally in February, my junior year. And then my brother talks me into coming to Nashville, or going to Nashville from Florida. It's where I grew up, on spring break. We had spring break. So I borrowed a buddy's van and I slept in the van, and I just literally went door to door during spring break. I literally got in to see some like RCA and people were fascinated that somebody was just going to walk in with a tape. And this was in 1980.
Okay.
And what blew my mind was everybody took me serious. Like when they heard the tape, they kind of straightened up. They went, oh, then they started telling me things that I need to do. He said, the first thing they all said is, you got to be here. You got to move here. But what freaked me out more than anything else was these were the first songs that I had just written maybe 6 weeks before this trip. And I had 10 songs. Mm-hmm. And they were taking me serious. That's what I couldn't believe more than anything else. And it was funny because some people either really liked the songs or they really like my voice. And then at that point, I will tell you, the thought of me singing like in front of people was like terrifying. So I'd really kind of settled in my mind, I'm just going to be a songwriter, because I can write the songs and then just stay, record them, and try to get other people to sing them.
Well, so that, I mean, you do have a very unique voice. I mean, that's one thing, but the music, it's you don't really do a lot of love songs, but you, you have. And I read a little bit of this off the bio that was sent to me. You do what you call life songs, and that I'm thinking, I go, God, you're right. And I look at the songs that you put out, and I said, oh, this ain't no love song. No, this ain't no love song. And but you kind of, it's about life and it's about real life. So that's kind of cool. Were you because you said you met with the labels, and that can be pretty stressful in itself, but you said they were kind of, maybe criticizing you a little bit or telling you to do things a little bit different. Did you take that very well? You know what I mean? Or were you like, no, this is the way I am, and this is what you're going to get?
Well, not on that first trip. No, there wasn't a lot of criticism on that first trip. Now, when I moved to Nashville and I got signed as a staff writer for Charlie Pride.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a staff writer, what you do is you sit in a cubicle all day long, and you just rotate, co-writers, and you try to write songs for people, that are on the radio. And that it was, Haggard, Jones, Charlie Pride, Alabama had just come on the scene, but Ronnie Millsap, Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton. So, but and I tried that, but during this, I wrote Step That Step.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they wouldn't even let me demo it because they didn't think it was worth even demoing. And then
Really?
I snuck into the studio and like at 2:00 in the morning and got caught by, the guy running the company. He'd been out drinking and saw my car. So he tells me to come in and play it for him the next day. So I go in and I play it for him. He listens to a verse and a chorus and he just stops and he says, Mark, what are you doing? He said, who would cut this? And I said, well, I would. He goes, well, you don't have a deal. You have to write songs for the current artist. And that was pretty tough. And
Wow.
what happened was we put the band together and we got pretty hot on the club circuit, and we were playing about half of our songs, half covers. And what was really confusing to us and to me was we would go out on the road and we would play, the songs that I'd written, and we were getting incredible response. And then I'd come back to Nashville and it was a no-go. It was like, man, you guys, you gotta conform. And, but I will tell you this, just the success and the impact we were having on the club circuit gave us the confidence to just stay with it. And we did have one guy from Capitol Records. His name was Lynn Schultz, and he flew to Cincinnati to see us.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had heard about us and he wanted to see us in our element. And when he saw us, he said, do not change one thing about what you're doing.
Cool.
He said, even if Nashville doesn't accept it, don't change. Mm-hmm. And fortunate for us, we got on Star Search, we go to LA, and then the whole thing changed. The whole dynamic of everything changed once we got on national TV and had the impact that we were having on the TV show.
Yeah, but you kind of carved out your own niche too, as well. I know I'm at the same thing with my throat. But so you did that. You got yourself together. You got your own thing, and obviously it worked very well. People were comparing you to groups like Alabama CDB, Charlie Daniels Band. But then I'm reading a little bit in the bio here. Said you looked more like the Rolling Stones and Aerosmith. So,
Well, also, I grew. My mom listened to country radio, and I grew
mhm.
up rock and roll, and Creedence, and the Beach Boys, and the Beatles, the Eagles, and so when I wrote, there was this maybe hybrid that came out of me because my mom only listened to country radio, like Haggard Jones, Charlie
Mhm,
Brown,
mhm.
Oak Ridge Boys, and so when I actually wrote the songs, there was this kind of hybrid, this kind of country blend with rock, and so and Alabama kind of opened the door. Alabama was the first self-contained band,
Mhm.
and we probably Exile crossed over at that time out of pop, and then us, and and but we did. You were right. We did. We had our own niche, and that was
Yep.
because songs that no one else would record.
And I mean, that's the whole thing, behind Mark Miller and Sawyer Brown. It's stuff that nobody else would do. You had your own way of doing it. And like I said in the beginning, I've seen you on stage, and just to watch you, I mean, you're not just standing there and singing a song. You're working that stage. You're moving. And that's probably why you're so fit. I'm just saying. And it definitely kind of helps out. I went out and bought a bike, but I'm not moving on stage. But I've seen you dance and I've seen you move around, and the energy between you and the guys in the band is just phenomenal. That's a show in itself. And that's pretty cool. You actually you spent some time with Kenny Rogers in the early days, right?
Yeah. We were. Kenny had seen us on Star Search, and he called and asked if we would like to come out on the and tour on his tour, and then he liked what was happening so well that his tour rolled into the Islands in the Stream tour with he and
Mhm,
Dolly,
mhm,
and we stayed out on that entire tour for a full year. So we came off Star Search, and then we go out on this incredible tour, and we're playing in front of 20 to 40,000 people a night for a solid year and a half. So
wow.
it talk about just getting a jump start on everything,
Mhm.
uh, and also performance wise, we just started gaining more and more confidence, and I gained more confidence as it went along,
Mhm.
and kind of morphed into what you see now. You know,
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you though, Mark. I mean, does it first of all, does it ever get old?
that answer is no, because now I tell you what gets old is I'm sitting in a hotel room right now in Minneapolis.
That gets old. I get it.
There's you can see the blue paint in the background. Uh,
Yeah, I know. There's really not much to see there. I get that. I get that. At least you got a place to sleep. You're not on the bus, so that's a good thing. But do you ever like you're going to go on stage? It's like are you pretty calm when you go on stage at first, or is it like, okay, here we go, you got the nerves going and all that? Do you still get that? Let me put it that way. Do you still get like the nerves and get a little okay, what's going to go on here? And
100%,
yeah.
100%. We're this in October 1st. We're going to be playing the Ryman, and that's our 6,000th show, and I can still
Wow.
do that. I still get that feeling that okay, because I still have that stage fright that it kind of wants to show up, that anxiety
Mhm.
to fight that, and then but when I go on stage, I know what is expected, and I've always been, I grew up playing ball and athlete. I know what's expected. I know I've prepared, and now I go to work, and
Mhm. Mhm.
that's how I approach the whole thing. Is I'm clocking in and I'm going to work, and I want to bring it every night. There's not a single night that I don't try to bring it, and the rest of the band follows as well.
I've seen that too. Tell them to come on in. It's all right. Is that housekeeping? Who's over?
So
I love it. I love it.
The road, the hotel rooms, it's like a frat house.
I
So
get you.
guys are going from room to room. So
That's all right. And they're waiting for you to come back because they want to pop a cold one with you. I get it. I get it.
I don't drink.
You don't drink? Good
No,
for you. God bless you. That's awesome.
never have.
Nope, and God bless you. That's cool. So, in the beginning we were talking about, you are Mark Miller, but how many people actually don't know you, or let's say they know you, but they think, well, I guess they really wouldn't know you because they think you're Sawyer. I mean, a name like Sawyer Brown, I mean, that could be a catcher on a ball team. Um, do you get that a lot? Do you get a lot? Hey, Sawyer,
Yeah. And you know what? I just go with it. It's fine. There's times that I tell people, well, I said, I'm Mark, the band is Sawyer Brown, and they'll go, I don't care what you call Sawyer,
So it is what it is at this point. Is there a particular song that you like to play out of all the songs you have? Is there a particular song that you will probably play at every show and one that you really enjoy? It doesn't get old.
Well, I will tell you this, when you come see us, we play our hits.
Mhm.
We really don't mess around. If you're a Sawyer Brown fan, you're going to hear every word. You're going to know every word to every song we play. But the walk is special. Some girls do is special. The race is on. Because sometimes we'll have 4 generations of men down there.
Mhm.
Their youngest grandson stand up when we sing that song, and they've all got their arms around each other. And
I
then
wow.
that's pretty. It's pretty emotional for us to see that it's had that kind of impact
Mhm.
on 4 generations.
Yeah. So it's just that we talk about 4 decades, well over 40 years. You get your 6,000th show coming up. Uh, how exciting is that? And who's been counting? I'm just saying, or do you take the book and go, okay, just add them up? Wow, that's amazing, dude.
We did a big deal in Salt Lake City at the Delta Center for our 40th, and when this for our 40 for I'm sorry, for our 4,000th show was
Mhm.
at Salt Lake, which, by the way, is our number 1 market.
I love it. Yep.
Don't know why. Uh, First place we ever headlined, and still to this day is a strong market for us. So we did our 4,000th show there, and I think when the 40th anniversary started coming up, we started going, let's see where we stand, and we counted up, and we knew during this year we were going to cross 6,000.
Wow.
So we just decided to make it. It's on a Tuesday night in Nashville at the Ryman Auditorium. So
Dude, it doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday night in Nashville at the Ryman because it's Sawyer Brown, Mark Miller and Sawyer Brown. It's not going to make a difference. It doesn't matter what night of the week it is. It could be a Monday and you're going to pack the place.
yeah,
Yeah. And how special is the Ryman to you? I mean, I talk to a lot of country artists and everybody just says, it's the mother church. Now you're talking about playing the Ryman right downtown, correct? Yeah. Oh my God, what a venue. What a
yeah,
venue.
yeah. And we of course we've played there. We've done concerts there,
Mhm.
but we've also done the Opry. It goes from there to the Opry House, back to the Ryman, back and forth, and we've done the Opry tons of times. But you still get that feeling like when you're in the alley out back and you're walking up those funky steps.
Yeah.
Just Williams walked up those, and Roy Acuff, and Minnie Pearl, and
Wow.
Jones, Charlie, you name it, all walked up those steps. And then when you go out there, and they preserved it so incredibly well. Um,
Mhm.
when the boys sound check every show, I go out into the crowd and I walk wherever we're playing. I walk the entire arena, and I work with the sound guy, making sure the sound is perfect everywhere. And when you get to places like the Ryman, and you're out in that audience and you're staring down at the stage, and you're going, man, in a few hours I'm going to be standing in that circle and I'm going to be playing. And it's an incredible feeling. It's very intimidating, but it's also, just an incredible feeling that to know that you've achieved that.
Mm-hmm. I got to tell you, I've been going to the country radio seminar well over 20 years. And we always go to the Ryman. We have a lunch thing there with one of the big labels and this and that. But I do walk around and I always think, wow, thinking back, who's walked up these stairs? And
Yeah.
now I'm standing here. Maybe I look at it a little bit different than you, but because you're the artist and I'm the radio guy, but still it's, I don't know. It gives me the goosebumps.
I think we share that, because when you're walking up those steps, I'm not walking up there as the artist. I'm walking up there as a fan,
Mm-hmm.
and just the same way you or anybody else would do. So, yeah, you get that. It's this humbling feeling that maybe in some way you're going to get to be a part of this.
Right. Do you have to because being Mark Miller, Sawyer Brown, hit after hit after hit, do you sometimes just got to pinch yourself and go, man, I can't, this is amazing. All these years, all these fans, all these number one songs. It just, is this a dream? Is this really happening?
Absolutely. And we'll sit on the bus, and we'll be able to see the parking lot and the people coming in and parking, and one of the reasons I go out during sound check and I want every seat to have a good sound is I can imagine when I was a fan and would go to concert, and I would buy the ticket a month ahead of time or 6 weeks, and I couldn't wait. And I still think about that fan who
Mm-hmm.
bought a ticket that's going to sit in that seat. And I want it to be everything they to be. And why I work out every day. I weigh the same right now as I did in high school.
Lucky you.
Well, I really have to work at it. But that's the reason that I do that, is that there is an expectation, and I want to live up to that expectation. And I really, really want more than anything for that fan to walk away and go, man, that's the best show I've ever seen. And this is my band. These guys are my guys.
How did how did y'all meet? Have you known each other since childhood days? How did the band come about?
Hobie and I, our keyboard player, who was
Mm-hmm.
walked in a little bit, he's gone again. But,
In and out.
yeah, he saw, oh, it's an interview. I'm out of here.
Now tell him to come over. It's an open book here. We don't care.
He and I have known each other since the 8th grade, and we moved to Nashville together, and we met all the guys. Especially back then, everybody was hanging out on Music Row, and we met all the other guys there, and we put the band together to initially just to make rent, and I would be writing during the day, and then we would go do our shows at night, and that's kind of what everybody was doing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I see. I can look at some of the comments here. I don't know if you can see them or not, but Michelle is saying she remembers seeing you guys along with Alabama at a place called the Weed Sports Speedway, which obviously is a speedway. It's west of Syracuse, but that was back in 1986. Wow,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
just.
And you know why I know that? We only did a handful of shows with Alabama, and that was one of them.
You
Yeah.
actually remember like the Speedway, Weed
Yeah.
Sports Speedway, dude.
And-
Kudos.
and I don't know if she's still on, but I think Juice Newton was on that show as
We'll
well.
find out. I think she's still on it. Well, I'm sure she'll comment, but that's Michelle. You got Roger saying hello. And you also have another big fan on there. Her name's Lori. Says hi, Mark. So it just, see, I mean, so many people look up to you. There's a lot of new artists that look up to you as well. And they say, you know what? I want to be like Sawyer Brown. I want to have that energy. I want to have that sound. Uh, it's rock, but it's country. It's like rock music within the country sound, if that makes sense. And what is there certain advice that you would give to somebody that wants to follow in your footsteps?
Man, I just think you gotta be stubborn a little bit, but you gotta be smart. You can't be stubborn and know that you just keep hitting the wall. If you're doing something and you can see there is some success somewhere in it, um, and you can be determined. So much of what we do today, and people ask me for advice for artists starting out.
Mhm.
I don't even think it's relevant because you know the way it was when we came out to the way it is today.
It's a
you
good
know
point.
it's tough because of the social media thing. Now, I do think this. I think the social media thing is a great outlet, and has you look at guys like Zach Top, and who started out strictly with social media, and my buddy Cody Jinks,
Oh
and
my gosh. Yeah.
you know some of these guys that really built a following, but they had to work hard at it. If you go back and look, man, they had to post and post and post and post, and they had to go at it hard. Um, and those would be the guys to ask what you do.
Yeah, I know. You're right. You're right. I get it now. You made a very valid point. Very
Yeah,
valid point. And you think about the social media, and we got your Zach Bryan's and Zach Top and Bailey Zimmerman.
yeah, we have to play that game. I mean, we have a whole staff of social media people at our office. We have a creator, we have an editor, we have all that, and we knew 3 years ago that we were going to have to get into this in order to make it through this next, whatever this next time frame is, to make the next cut, so to speak.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, you mentioned Juice Newton. I see Michelle chimed back, and she goes, "I think Juice Newton might have played that night as well at Weedsport." So
yeah,
there
yeah,
you go. Wow, you got a great with all the shows you do and all the different people that you meet everywhere you go, all around the world. I don't know how you could just remember that. Maybe because of the few dates with Alabama,
yeah,
but that's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
that is.
big Alabama fan and big Juice Newton fan too. So that show, I remember that both. That was a big deal to get to do that show with those both of those acts.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the new music, though. You got a brand new single out, even though you're approaching your number 6,000 when it comes to shows. Um, Desperado Troubadours. Let's talk about that a little bit. Did you write that, or tell us about the song?
Well, the song, the album is produced by Blake Shelton, just
I did read that. Yes.
and the song "Desperado Troubadours" was written by me, Cody Jinks, and Tennessee Jet, and it was the first Zoom write that I'd ever done, because this was like at the tail end of COVID, and,
Mm.
and everybody had learned how to Zoom. I'm still not good at it. Talked about that before I got on.
Yeah, I know. Push the button and smile. You see the light come out on the camera, you're good. So I'm just saying.
So, but it was the first Zoom ride that I had done, and man, it was incredible. Cody is a fan, and we had met him at the Opry. We were both doing the Opry, and he had come up and he talked to me about how much the walk had meant to him, and I met him there, and we ran into Cody out on the road in Billings, Montana, and reconnected. And then when my daughter has always been a big Cody Jinks fan, and she's always said, even before I knew who he was, she said, "Dad, you and this guy would write well together." And so we did, and we wrote, Desperado Troubadours was the first song, and then we rolled right into that to write Under This Old Hat, which is the on the album as well.
Nice. Nice. I see I'm reading some of the comments here and it's pretty cool. Jill says, "Hi Mark. Hope you guys will be playing at the Turning Stone again soon. That's a casino right up the road in Verona, New York. I've been a fan since Star Search. Holy crap. And she goes, ask Skip every time he sees me, and this is so true. Now I know exactly who this is. When I'm doing an event, she has a Sawyer Brown t-shirt on. To this very every single show we do with the radio station. She's like, there it is. That's got to make you feel good when you see the people buying the merch, they're wearing the merch, they're obviously they're big fans. They wouldn't do it. I mean, I have a Mitchell Tenpenny shirt on because we did a show just the other night. But yes, I'm a big fan, but I'm also a big fan of Sawyer Brown. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's an honor. It's really cool. Anytime I see that, it's just an honor that they want to wear our shirts and hear the songs. It's an.
How did you get caught up with Grassroots? I love the promotion team that they have. I know they're musicians, they're radio people, they make it work. But you're such a well-established artist. It's not like you're an independent newbie, anything. That's not you. But you've obviously signed on with Grassroots.
Well, we're still with Curb Records.
Oh, okay. So I get you.
Yeah, but I'll tell you a quick story about Grassroots. We have a song called "They Don't Understand" on. It's on an album that we did. I think it's on the Mission Temple album, actually.
Okay.
And I was in a furniture store in Nashville, and a guy waiting on us, he recognized me. He said, "Man, I've been a songwriter here for 30 years. I've never gotten a cut." He said, "Man, I got a song that I'd like to give you and play for you." And so I literally went with this guy, and we went out to his car, and he pulled this CD, a homemade CD, out of the floorboard of his car, and he hands it to me. And my wife and I, on the way home, we literally had to pull the car over. And I invite everybody to go listen to that song on the Mission Temple album. It's called "They Don't Understand." Anyway, this guy, his wife is Teresa, and she is the president of Grassroots.
Oh yeah. Know him well. Okay.
And we established a relationship then, and they've, we've just put out records on our own, and they've worked them all along, and they're just incredible. She's incredible.
Yes. Nancy and Teresa just do a great job. Like I said, they're musicians as well as the radio side of things, and they bring it all together. It's not just somebody running a company that has no idea what goes on either side.
And Curb has brought them on the team to come alongside this record.
I love it. Good choice. And Lori chimed in and said, by the way, that's an awesome song. So yeah, exactly. I'll have to ask Teresa about that. That's pretty cool. Tell us about a day in the life of Mark Miller. Let's say you're home, you're not on the road. What's a day like for you?
Well, it could be several things. I could get woken up by my two grandsons at about 7 o'clock in the morning. They're jumping on top of me. And that my day might start that way. If they're in school, I stay up pretty late, and I'm a bit of an insomniac. So I will sleep till 8 to 9 in that range.
In the morning. Now, being a musician, though, you're usually up, your hours are usually shifted a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'll still be up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, but I don't require a lot of sleep. So I'll get up, and I usually don't work out as soon as I get up because I'm not quite awake. It takes me a little while to wake. I have a Diet Coke. I established I don't drink alcohol ever, and so I'll get Diet Coke, and my wife would tell me to go wake up, and then I usually eat an early lunch. I don't eat breakfast, and I'll eat an early lunch around 11, and then I'm gonna go work out, or If it's a music day, I'm going to go in the studio and work. After my workout, I'm going to get my workout in regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not able to get my workout in, I do it before I go to bed. So I try to do 600 sit-ups and 100 push-ups in my
Wow. God bless you. That
yeah.
is, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm just saying, you know, you and I both, we're not spring chickens anymore. So to continue to do that and keep the heart pumping and bring that heart rate up and get the blood flowing and, you know, not drinking, I think that's awesome. And you've never smoked either, correct?
I have never tasted beer. I don't even know what it tastes like. So that's, so that's how that's how
That's
strong.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So
Now, when my son Zach turned 21, he said he wanted a 6-pack of Bud for a birthday present. I'm like, all right, but you know what? He drank about a half a bottle, and that was it, and he hasn't touched it since. So he goes, I just wanted it because I turned 21, and he's also special needs, but still, you know, he knows. So
yeah.
so the brand new song Desperado Troubadours. They can get that from any of the streaming
Yeah,
platforms. You can download it and you can buy it on iTunes.
yeah. It's out. The album's out. The single's out. Absolutely. Yeah. They
Mhm.
can't.
Cool. Are these Mark Miller? Are these the guys that you're playing with? The guys that you've played with since the very beginning?
Yeah, me and Hobie and JoJo. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And Shane is the new guy. He's been here 20 years.
he's, he's got 20 years. Is there any particular show that really stands out to you that you say, man, that was the best, or maybe it was an amphitheater, maybe it was you know, somewhere that you're gonna go, you know what, I want to go back there. That place was beautiful. That place was the best.
Um,
You could say
man,
Syracuse, which would be good.
so many venues. Uh, I want to tell you this: the Buffalo, New York area.
Oh
We've
yeah.
got a group of guys called the Buffalo Boys, and and they come out, and honest to goodness, we love these guys, but they get so drunk that
So drunk, they're stupid.
yeah,
Oh my god.
and literally have to scold them. I mean, there's like a bunch of them, and they come out. We know they're going to be there, and they get there early, and we have to say, guys, you're going to have to behave tonight, because they'll be hanging around the bus and want us to come out and talk to them. But so Buffalo is one. Is, um, man, we've got to play so many great venues from one of our first big shows was Carnegie Hall
Oh
in
wow.
New York.
Mhm.
Like I said, the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City was the first place we headlined. That's a special place to us. Um, we sold out the Tacoma Dome, 23,000 people, and we didn't even have an opening act. You
Wow.
know, memorable show. Real quick, my kids were younger, and I had it was in the summer, and it's 23,000 sold out, the Tacoma Dome, Tacoma, Washington.
Mhm.
And my wife and kids have been out for like 3 weeks. My wife is she is just a mom. She doesn't care about all the stuff. So I said, hey, bring the kids in, let them see the show tonight, because this is a big deal.
Mhm.
This has been forever. And if she said, okay, that's a great idea. So we do the show, and we get like 7 encores, and it's like the most unbelievable night of all time. And I get out to the bus, and she's in her pajamas, and the kids are asleep in their bunks. And I look at her and said, "Are you kidding me? I thought you were going to bring him in." She goes, "I brought him in."
Oh no.
She goes, "You play so loud, and everyone was screaming." She said, it was too much. It was too much." And she said, "So we out." She said, "We got ready for bed, and they went to sleep." So,
Maybe it was too much for her, but I'm sure the kids would have been like just over the top with it.
oh, this is strictly too much for her. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. We've been chatting with Mark Miller tonight, right there. Sawyer Brown. And, he's the lead man. He's the voice, very unique. So many hits over 4 decades, and they're working on their show number 6,000 here pretty quick. It just amazes me that, you're still going strong. I mean, this in a good way. You're still going strong, and you're still packing the places. You're selling out arenas. You're doing what you have to do. And it's not that you have to do it. You do it because you love it. I can tell already. This is you. This is Mark Miller. This is the guy that I don't, like I said a few minutes ago, you get on stage and you just let it all out. You go. I've seen you dance. I've seen you, just and do the whole thing, and just a great music. The new single, Desperado Troubadours, check that out. Definitely good stuff. And Mark, I just want to say thank you because I know you're very busy. You're on tour, and he took time out to speak to us here on, I call it Skip Happens, and it just Skip happens every day. That's the way I look at it. It doesn't matter. It does happen. So,
Man, it's been great, and I will tell you this, man. We do just tons and tons of interviews, and when we run across people like you that are not only fans but so prepared, and it makes my job really easy. So you've done that. So
thank you. Thank you. I always, usually I will ask and say, okay, how did it go? It's just, I did geek out a little bit. I will admit that. I've been a big fan, like you said, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Now it's just like you and I talking as friends. And I love that. And I love that about you. Real quick, Jill says, my daughter, Alicia, just asked me to ask Mark to tell Hobie she said hi. I don't know what that's all about.
Alicia, okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Area, Syracuse.
Syracuse. We're in Syracuse. Yes. Like right in the center of the state. We've got Albany this way, Buffalo this way, about equal distance. We're like right in central New York. It's crazy. I'll tell a quick story. We had the last couple of weeks, our weather has been, it's been crazy everywhere. Even Nashville's been nuts. It's been so hot, the heat index. We had over 20 confirmed tornadoes in central New York over the last couple of weeks. And that has never, ever happened. So this whole climate change thing, there might be something to it. So
sounds like Arkansas or
yeah,
Iowa.
Yeah, but see, they're flat. So those areas where it's flat, you're more able to get a tornado there. Here in the Northeast, I mean, we have the Adirondacks, we have the mountains, we have, there's a lot of hilly areas. So, but yeah, it just amazes me. But thank the good Lord, everybody's okay. Mark Miller, Sawyer Brown, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for giving us the great music on the radio. I always say it's a two-way street, because if it wasn't for the great artist, and especially somebody like you with the experience and the 4 decades of putting out great tunes, number one songs, hit after hit, it makes radio stand out, and we make the artist stand out. So it's kind of a two-way street. So
thank you, man, for for the outlet that you provide us, and
we're not stopping.
Yeah. So yeah, we're partners, man. So thank you.
Mark Miller, Sawyer Brown, thanks for joining us tonight. Stay right there when we sign off. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And make sure you subscribe to Skip Happens on YouTube. If you're in the area, we're 92.1 The Wolf. And definitely check out the new single, Desperado Troubadours, right there. Mark Miller, Sawyer Brown. Have a good night, everybody.